Hello, this is Sales Mind Lab. Today we want to talk about flow. When people talk about flow, they often describe it as being productive, focused, or fully absorbed. But to me, flow feels deeper than that. Flow is a state of deep satisfaction and gratitude. When you think of it, you naturally smile, not because you achieved something flashy, but because you felt right inside. It's not excitement. It's not rush. It's a quiet, warm sense of fulfillment. When we study motivation, we usually divide it into two types. Extrinsic motivation. This comes from inside. Rewards, praise, grace, money, approval from others. Intrinsic motivation. This comes from inside. Curiosity, love, meaning, personal challenge, a sense of purpose, and only intrinsic motivation can truly create flow. Every single experience in my life came from intrinsic motivation, never because I had to, but because I wanted to. One of the clearest moments of flow for me is when I play the piano. Not for exams, not for performance, not for assessment, but when I play purely because I want to. Time disappears, judgment disappears. There's only sound, emotion, and connection. That is intrinsic motivation in its purest form, and that's why flow naturally appears. I also experience flow when I read an interesting book or watch an inspiring YouTube video, especially when I suddenly understand a great idea. That moment of clarity, when scattered thoughts finally connect, brings a deep and calm satisfaction. It's not excitement, it's not dopamine, it's something much deeper. Flow doesn't mean things are easy. Some of my strongest flow experience happen when I try very hard, I struggle, I persist, and finally complete a difficult task. The satisfaction doesn't come from external praise, but from knowing I didn't give up, that the internal reward is powerful and deeply fulfilling. Flow also happens in relationships. When I talk with my dearest friends, sharing thoughts, emotions, and laughter, time passes without notice. There's no performance, no comparison, no pleasure, just presence. That, again, is intrinsic motivation, connection for its own sake. Another quiet form of flow appears at the end of the day, when I finish my work, go back home, and feel eager, not rushed, to see my family. That feeling of being contained, safe, and accepted creates a deep sense of emotional flow. Nothing dramatic happens, but everything feels right. Here's some important and often misunderstood. The satisfaction we get from flow is long-lasting because it is driven by endorphins, not dopamine. Dopamines give short-term pleasure, excitement, craving, quick rewards. Endorphins create deep well-being, calm, resilience, inner satisfaction. Flow is not addictive. Flow is nourishing. That's why after a day lived with flow, we don't feel empty. We feel complete. At the end of a flow-filled day, I feel calm, grounded, and grateful. No euphoric, no, not exhausted, just peaceful. Flow doesn't shout. Flow whispers. That is a life well lived today. So when I think about flow, I no longer ask, how productive was I? I ask, was I intrinsically motivated? Did I feel meaningful rather than pleasure? Did I experience depth, not just stimulation? Because flow is not about doing more. It's about living from the inside out.